Now we will be looking after some safety rules that we need to follow when we are playing in the playground. Maybe it is the school playground or any other playground which is near to our house or any other playground. So the first and the foremost rule that we need to follow is we should follow the rules of the game that we are playing. Maybe we are playing cricket or kabaddi, football, volleyball, any game that we are playing, we should always follow the rules of that game. So also we should not play any type of rough games. That is rough games like pushing, pulling, throwing any hard object towards others. It can cause damage to our partners, to the other children who are playing with us. So it is necessary that we do not play any type of rough games. So also we should not push others. We should always wait for our turn to come. We should never push others or throw any objects towards others. So also when we are playing the games like slides, then swings, we should be very careful. So whenever we are playing on the slides, we should take care that the person who is before us, let him or her slide down and then we should climb up the slide. We should wait for our turn to come. So also when we are playing, suppose we are playing on the swings or somebody else is playing on the swings, take care that you don't go in between. What will happen if you go in between? The swing will just come and hit you and you can have an injury because of the swing. The swing, it starts swinging, we can't control it in between. So if we are not careful about this thing, the swing will come and just hit us very badly and we will get injured. Also the other games like we have merry-go-rounds, we have seesaws. These games are played with a group of children. So when you are playing on the seesaw, you have one more child playing with you. Suppose you are playing on the seesaw and if you want to move away from the seesaw, you want to get down from the seesaw, it is very necessary that you tell your partner about your movement, because if you don't let your partner know about you are getting off from the seesaw, the other child, the other person who is sitting on the other side of the seesaw, he might fell down suddenly and get injured. So whenever you are playing the group games like seesaws or you are playing the merry-go-rounds or any other group games, it is very necessary to be in contact with your partners, to talk to them about any of your movements. Also whenever you are playing all these games, just take care that you be in a line. You play these games turn by turn. You should be very careful that you yourself don't get hurt, as well as you should take care that the others who are playing with you, they also don't get any type of injury or any harm. So if we follow these rules when we are in the playground, we are surely going to avoid all types of accidents and events, and we will be careful about ourselves as well as our friends. Now it is the time to look for some next set of safety rules that we need to follow in our school. So whenever we are in the school, when we are in the classroom, we need to follow some rules to avoid any type of damage, to avoid any accident. So what we should do? We should not jump on the benches. The benches, they are meant for us to sit and study. We should never jump from one bench to the other. It is very bad. Why is it bad? Because the benches, they are made up of wood or metal, and suppose if when we are jumping we fell down, they are surely going to have a harm to us. We are going to get badly hurt because of the hard material. The wood and the iron, they are very hard, and if we get hit on these materials, they are surely going to give us injuries which will cause a lot of pain to us. So we should never jump on the benches. So also we should not throw any objects towards each other. Okay, throwing of pencils, never we should do it, because the pencils, they are having sharp on it, and so they can hit somebody and they might get injured. So throwing of any objects should not be done in the classroom. As well as when you are using the staircase, the steps of the staircases, you should go, when you are walking on the staircases, you should walk properly. You should not rush, you should not run, but you should go on the staircase slowly, taking care of yourself and the others who are walking on the staircase along with you. So it is very necessary that whenever you are walking on the staircase, be in a queue, take care of yourself and others. Okay, so these were some safety rules that we need to follow in the school. Now we will see for some safety rules that we need to follow when we are walking on the road. So as we know, on the roads we can see a lot of vehicles that are moving from this place to other place. Some are moving towards our side, some are moving away from our sides. So whenever we are going to walk, we are not on a vehicle, we are going to walk a distance, we should make use of the footpath. Footpaths are available on both the sides of the road. So whenever we are walking, we should use the footpaths that are made for the pedestrians. Pedestrians are the people who are walking on the road. So the people who are walking on the road are called as pedestrians, and a footpath is made for the pedestrians, that is for the people who are walking. So also always follow the traffic lights. Suppose you are walking on the road, it is having a traffic signal, you should always look for the traffic lights. What are they telling? Are they telling the pedestrians to cross the road, or suppose they are telling the vehicles to move on? It is very necessary that we follow the traffic lights. Okay. Also there are zebra crossings on the roads. The white and black strips on the roads, they are meant for the pedestrians to cross the road. But these zebra crossings can be used only when the pedestrian traffic light is green. It means that all the vehicles are going to stop, and the people, those who want to cross the road, they can cross the road only when the pedestrian traffic light is green. So also you can make use of the subways or over bridges. Bridges over the roads are made for the people to cross the roads. You can make use of those subways. Subways are underground roads. Also, as I told you, over bridges on the above the road they are made. You can make use of them to cross the roads. But if such subways and over bridges are not there, you have to make use of zebra crossings only when the pedestrian traffic light is green. So also never play on the road or never run on the road. You want to cross the road, never run on it. If you want to cross the road, you have to first see to your right side. Just see whether any vehicle is coming. Then see to your left side. See to the left whether any vehicle is coming. Then again you have to see to your right. If on both the sides no vehicle is running, then only you can cross the road very carefully. But you need to see whether vehicles are not moving from both the sides, from the right, left and again to the right, and then cross the road very carefully. Never play on the road. The roads are not meant for playing. They are for the vehicles to move. So for playing, we have playgrounds, we have gardens, we can play there. We should never play on the roads. So also never cross the road behind a parked vehicle. Suppose a vehicle is parked on the road and I want to cross the road. I should never go behind that parked car or parked vehicle and cross the road, because the vehicle that is coming from forward side, they can't see me, nor can I see that vehicle, and if I try to cross the road suddenly, the vehicle that is moving from the front side, it might hit me. So If some vehicle is parked on the road, just take care that you are not crossing the road. You are not going to the other side of the road from the behind, from the back side of that vehicle, because the vehicle which is coming from the front side, it can't see you, and you too can't see any vehicle coming from that front side. So it is very necessary that we follow such rules to keep ourselves safe. If we follow all these rules that I have told you, it is beneficial to us. It is good to us because we are going to be careful and we are going to save our lives. Isn't it? Following all these safety rules is good for us. Yes? So it is necessary, and I hope everybody, every one of you is going to follow all these safety rules to avoid any type of accidents, any type of incidents that will cause injury or harm to us. After all the safety rules, now we are going to learn some first aid tips. So what is this first aid? Yes, first aid is the first help that is given to any injured person. The first help, the first assistance that is given to the wound, to the injury, is called as first aid. So you might have seen the first aid box. First aid box is seen in the schools. We have it at our homes. When we are playing in the playgrounds, our PE teachers, sports teacher, they have it with them. So what does this first aid box have? So the first aid box has cotton in it. It has antiseptic lotion to kill the germs on the wound. So also it has antiseptic cream. It has bandage, crepe bandage. It has a pair of scissors. So all these things are to be there in our first aid box. Now we will see some first aid tips. So we are going to now learn some first aid tips, or how can we give first aid to any injured person. So first we will see how to give the first aid for some minor cuts or wounds. So the person who is going to give first aid, he or she should clean the hands first, because if we don't clean our hands, the germs or the dirt that is on our hands will get transferred to that wound, and the wound can get an infection. So the person who is going to give the first aid should first clean his or her hands, and then you should clean the wound, clean that injury with clean water, and then you can apply, or with the help of some cotton which is soaked in the antiseptic lotion, clean the wound. Then you can apply a bandage to stop the bleeding of the wound. We should apply a tight bandage on the wound if it is a major wound or a major cut. If the cut is small, a very minor cut we have, then you can apply band-aid on it. But if the wound or the injury is a little bigger, you should apply a bandage over it so that the blood will stop. So also, if we are thinking of giving a first aid for a minor burn, suppose we just lifted some hot material, hot vessel, and we just got a minor burn on our skin. In such case, what we can do? We should first hold that wound, hold that burnt area under cold water, or we can apply a ice pack or ice on that wound so that the temperature of that wound gets lowered, and then we can apply an antiseptic cream over that burnt area, and we should take that person to the doctor. So also, if we are giving a first aid for some insect bite, suppose some insect bites us suddenly, then what can we do? We should apply a paste of baking soda and cold cream on that area on which the insect has bited. So what we should do? We should make a paste of baking soda and cold cream and we should apply on the insect bite area, and then we should take the person to the doctor. So also, if a person faints, what is fainting? Chakkar. Yes. Suppose if a person faints suddenly before you, what can you do? How can you help? How can you give the first aid? You can make the person to lie down with head which is at a level which is lower than the body. So you should make the person lie down, but how should be the position? The head should be at a lower position than the entire body. And why is it necessary to give such a position? So that the blood circulation, the blood moves towards the brain and the person can regain the conscious. When we are walking, the blood flow is not towards our head, but it is towards our entire body. And if we put our head at a lower position than our body, the blood flow will be going towards the brain, and so when a person faints, the head level lower position is given to that person so that the blood circulation moves towards the brain. Also, you should see that the person gets fresh air around the fainted person. You should not make a chaos. People should not start gathering towards that person, but that person should be left into a place where we get fresh air, and don't gather around that person. So also sprinkle cold water on the face. Just sprinkle a little of cold water on the face of that fainted person. Also loosen the clothes. What happens when we get fainted? The body temperature of our body, the temperature of our body gets raised. So we should take care that fresh air is around that person. So also try to loosen up the clothes. If the clothes are too tight, if the person is wearing various clothes like jackets and all those things, just try to open the zips of those jackets. Why? Because let the fresh air touch the body and let the person regain his conscious. Okay, so this was the first aid that it is to be given to a person who is fainting. Now the next first aid, it is for nose bleeding. Suppose any of your friend, any of your elder suddenly starts bleeding from the nose. If the blood starts coming out from the nose, then what can we do? We should just pinch the nose. What should we do? We should hold the nose tightly for at least 7 to 8 minutes. Okay, for at least 7 to 8 minutes we have to hold the nose tightly so that the bleeding will stop. Also make the person to lean forward, that is bend forward. We should ask the person who is having nose bleeding to bend forward for some time until the bleeding stops. Also we should make a cold wet towel and apply it on his or her face. So a cold towel or a cold handkerchief, we should apply some water on it. We should make it cold and apply it on the face of that person, and we should, yes, so what should we do? We should let the person breathe through the mouth. Since we are holding the nose to make the bleeding stop, so we should ask that person to breathe through the mouth, and we should hold his or her nose for 7 to 8 months. Also we should apply a cold wet towel on that person's face. So these were some of the rules, we can say that, sorry, not rules, but some tips which we can follow so that we can help some person when they are injured, when they are fainted, when they are having insect bite or burns, or nose bleeding. So we can use these tips whenever necessary, but the most important thing is we should follow the rules and regulations and keep ourselves and others safe. But in case some accident occurs, then we can follow these tips and give first aid to the required person. So this was the lesson about safety and first aid.